Well, hey, now it's the Rob from 106.1 Kiss FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting, the incredibly wonderful, rambling Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Post to post.
I am foregoing the theme song today because I'm literally not sure our computer in the studio can handle it.
That's an amazing thing to have to say when you're on a radio.
Jared, I'm still suffering amazing residual effects from a simple computer update over 2 weeks ago. It's and my engineers are trying to work on it, but they cannot seem to get to the problem of why there's some sort of audio issue and I can't record my stuff into Cool Edit anymore. I can't play YouTube videos, or I told you I can't hear audio. It's nuts.
At least you still have engineers in the building. Our engineer replaced all of the mouses in the one studio with trackballs. And I just wanted to kill somebody. I wanted to murder somebody. I was like, how am I supposed to edit a call with a trackball? What am I supposed to do with this? How can... This doesn't even look like something I could use.
It looks like something that belongs on a spaceship from 1969.
It looks like HAL. It's like Space Odyssey over here. Come on.
Dude, there's the same problems in every station you go to.
Yeah.
It's like they updated, the programs you use to edit audio and radio.
Yeah.
They updated all of them on the computers, and every DJ hates the updates, but they refuse to go back.
Are you talking about the new Adobe Auditions?
Yeah.
I hate the new Adobe. It's a pain in the butt.
But my question is, why do we have to update them? I don't get it. The old one was working just fine. I think because they want to sell new versions, but really all they do is have other radio stations pirate new versions. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm just gonna quit on this. But anyway. You ready to do this, bud? Because we have a lot to get to. We got SmackDown from last night, which I actually have a good bit of notes from, and we've got the predictions. So let me go through last night's thoughts real fast. What did you think of the show last night?
I enjoyed it. I don't ever want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to say they need to shake it up. They need to change things up. They need to give some different people opportunities, and then when they do. Immediately bang all over them. Even if I don't agree with the new people they're giving opportunities to, I've got to be aware that I asked for this. I asked for them to give people an opportunity to become stars. So that's how I feel about the show. I liked it. I liked that they were giving people new opportunities, even though I might not like the people that they're pushing around right now.
I did not like the show last night at all. Really dragged on.
I hated the tag team stuff. I'll tell you right now, I did not like the beat the clock. That was a mess.
That stuff's awful. I'm just glad. I thought there was just a 2-team beat the clock.
It was 4 teams, 2 matches, and 2 of the teams was Breezango and the Ascension. And to be fair to American Alpha, they could have beaten the Ascension in less time too.
Yeah,
I don't like beat the clock. Nothing's even, nothing's fair. Have a tournament.
There is no excitement with a beat the clock tournament. So, dude, I'm with you. So the show started off on what I thought would be a good foot, and it wasn't a bad foot, but I wish more would have happened when it came to Ziggler and Nakamura. I'm excited to see them fight. Don't get me wrong, but nothing is really happening.
I'm not excited to see them fight. I'm excited to see Nakamura in a wrestling match.
Yeah.
But I'm not excited for this fight. I feel like there are the big problem that SmackDown is suffering from is there's a lot of heatlessness. There's no heat. Dolph Ziggler has no heat. Randy Orton has no heat. The tag division as a whole has no heat.
Absolutely.
And who are you going to create heat with? Jinder Mahal?
Yeah, so we need to create a good bit of heat. So the first choice is someone who's not even on SmackDown, and the second choice is Jinder Mahal.
Right.
Problems, big time problems.
Who I didn't hate Jinder last night. Him and the Bollywood boys. Like, I like that as a faction, but putting him in the world title hunt That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Jinder is not a bad worker, really. The only thing that he is missing is a connection with the crowd that has just never really taken off. And I don't think it's ever going to happen. He looks great. He wrestles, I'll say fine, but he just doesn't connect with the audience, myself included. And when Randy's not doing the same thing, when Randy's also not connecting, that's a bad choice to fill that spot. It really is.
Is it racist if I start calling the Bollywood boys Sanjay and Sanjay Security?
That's I don't think so. I think you're probably okay. That's a funny point. You know, I had a note about them too that annoyed me. So you just called them the Bollywood boys, which is what they were calling them last week and also kind of last night. But if we're trying to transition over to calling them the Singh brothers, why are we referring to them at all as the Bollywood boys?
Right, because I forgot about the Singh brothers. They are Singh brothers now.
Yeah, but you're not the only person referring to them like that. Even their own announcers last week and last night are referring to them as both, kind of. Last week it was just the Bollywood boys. Why not, if you're trying to call them the Singh brothers, why not be like, oh my God, that's the Singh brothers, or even that's the Singh brothers, who you may know as the Bollywood boys from 205 Live, or like there are much better ways to handle this than calling them both.
Why don't we just start calling them the Shining Stars?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, because that's kind of what it strikes me like. The same week that you do that with the Colons, whatever.
Colon, I love it, Colon.
You do it with the Singh brothers too. I think it's bad timing, if you ask me. Speaking of the Colons, didn't American Alpha just fight the Colons last week?
It was more of a bum rush.
Was that not their match? I forget what their match was last week.
No. American Alpha had a different match, and then the Colons came out and bum rushed them.
Well, it felt stale to me because we just saw it last week, but okay, maybe it wasn't exactly a rematch.
The only rematch I did not mind the rematch between Baron Corbin and AJ Styles. You may have, but I didn't. That's the only thing right now going on. Owens and Corbin and Styles and now Sami Zayn that has any heat at all.
I only complain about them if they feel stale and they feel like rematches to me. And I can't remember the last time AJ and Baron went one-on-one, so it didn't feel stale to me.
It was last week's main event.
Oh, crap. That shows you how much attention I pay to this show sometimes. Then yeah, I gotta be honest, I do have a problem with that, man. While I didn't realize it last night, wasn't that the first match, or am I wrong about that tonight?
Yeah, they closed the one show with it, and then they opened the next show. So really, guys, SmackDown Live had two back-to-back.
That's the second time in the last month we've been able to say that too. Because the last match one week was American Alpha versus Usos, and then they opened the next SmackDown with that same match, and that's driving me nuts, guys. And you just had the shake-up.
They moved a lot of story with it yesterday, and that's why I won't hammer them for it, because they really moved AJ Styles and Kevin Owens along, which those matches will be fun when we start getting that. And now they've got Sami Zayn and Baron Corbin, which both of those guys could be doing worse. So,
well, I have a complaint about that too. I was very disappointed with SmackDown. You sent me a clip from Talking Smack last night that did more for that feud than anything on the show did.
Right, and I will post that once you post this video. I will post it in the comments below so people can see it, because they've been doing this a lot with Talking Smack. You know, if you think back to The Miz when he was on SmackDown, one of the best promos of the year wasn't even done on WWE television. It was done on Talking Smack.
1,000,000%, yes. And that's annoying, because I'm already watching your 2 hours of stuff after I've watched 3 hours of Raw the night before, and probably 3 or 4 hours the night before, or if it's WrestleMania, 7 hours the night before. Like, I am not watching your post shows.
Can't do it.
I can't do it. I can't.
So we rely on people to watch it and clip it up into YouTube snippets and put them on for us.
And also, dude,
Baron Corbin comes out and just demolishes Sami Zayn on Talking Smack, and then tosses a referee across the room, which looked awesome. And it did both. You're right. It did more for both of them than the entire segment did on SmackDown.
And then, so correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't the post show start an hour after SmackDown ends?
That I don't know.
I think it goes 205 live and then SmackDown Talking Smack, but whatever. But here's the problem.
I'm not in high school anymore. I can't do this.
Well, here's the other thing, Jer, is like, this is supposed to be a post show. Like, think about, I know you don't watch Walking Dead, but there's Talking Dead that comes on after Walking Dead.
Okay.
You don't have story progress on the post show. You have it take place on the real show, and then you talk about it on the post show. And the really hardcore fans stick around and watch that. You can't have Negan debut on the post show, or you can't have big plot. You can have teases for next week or whatever. You can do stuff like that, but you can't have real storyline plots that get referenced on the main show on the post show.
This is the WWE thinking that they see the bigger picture. I truly believe in their hearts they feel that this is them driving people to the network, saying, okay, so we gave you stuff on USA, but if you want the whole picture, if you want it all, it's kind of like that with video games now. You remember, you used to buy a video game and then you could buy bonus content. Now you buy a video game and then you kind of have to buy the rest of the video game in downloadable content. And that's what they're doing here. They're giving you a little bit, and then they're saying, well, if you want it all, you got to go to the network. Which from a business standpoint may work, but it's just frustrating the hell out of people that have the network but not the time to watch it all.
Yeah, it's really becoming a big pain in my butt. So gonna move forward from that. I'm still waiting to find out what you liked from the show, but I'll give you a few more things that I was.
I like that. That was the opening segment. I really liked. I enjoyed it.
What did you like about it?
I like the match. I like Corbin. I like AJ Styles. I love.
The opening segment was Nakamura and Dolph.
Oh no, I did. Okay, the opening match. I like the opening match.
Oh, okay, all right. I can get with you on that one. Speaking of Baron Corbin, Brittany thought that for a little bit he was Bo Dallas, and I gotta be honest with you, I can kind of see it.
He's just a tall Bo Dallas.
Yeah, and they both have like a little jiggle in their belly, and they've got. I can see where she was coming from with that call.
So I kind of didn't hate the very opening segment with Nakamura, and I liked the match with Owens on commentary. I told you that, and then the second hour really didn't do it for me. You know, I don't know. I like the idea of Jinder Mahal taking the belt and holding the belt now and blah blah blah.
That doesn't bother me, but the match before it did. If you watch that match, I thought Randy Orton was asleep. I thought he was phoning it in. I thought he was moving in slow motion. Neither one of these guys have any heat, like you mentioned earlier. I just didn't. I couldn't care less about that match last night, man.
Nobody in the world thought that Randy Orton was going to lose that match. That's part of the problem. Eric Rowan, if he's not going to be on the same show as Bray Wyatt, they need to give him a new identity.
Yeah, and they're not really doing that. Just new music's gonna take more than that. Plus. Yeah, I just thought it was a bad match, and it's just because I blame Orton for it. I don't blame Rowan. I blame Randy because watch Randy run the ropes. Watch Randy. Everything he does just felt slow motion to me, which is my big complaint about Ambrose not long ago, and claiming that he was complacent and phoning it in. I feel that's Orton anymore. I'm not even sure Orton really cares.
Yeah, there's something up with him. We talked about it on Monday or on Tuesday. There's just something not right with Randy.
Something also bothering me this whole past month is, so I know that there's a lot of people are annoyed by this House of Horrors match and how we don't understand what it is because they haven't told us what it is. And some announcers seem to know what it is. Some announcers seem to not know what it is. Some seem to not know quite what it is. My question is, Randy's the champ. Bray's the #1 contender. Why is it that Bray is calling all the shots for this match?
And it's not even a championship match.
And does Randy, well, there's that too. And like, is Randy just totally cool with getting involved into a match that we don't know the rules for? Like why is he agreeing to step into that? Like, this makes such little sense to me. You know what else it reminds me of? Although what I'm going to compare it to, I thought was a good thing. And you probably weren't watching, and I believe this was April of 2001, if I'm not mistaken, at the Backlash pay-per-view. But there was a Duchess of Queensberry rules match with Jericho and, oh man, was it Regal? I can't remember exactly who the two were, but the heel in the match. I forget if it was Jericho or Regal. It was a Duchess of Queensberry rules match, but no one knows what that means. And the heel got to keep making up the rules as we went along. So
that's what House of Horrors is going to be.
When the heel got pinned, they started playing the face's music, and then the announcer came on and said, "Oh, pinfalls don't count in a Duchess of Queensberry rules match." You know what I mean? And then there would be a count out, and then countouts don't count in a Duchess of Queensberry rules match. So it would keep going until the heel got his way. And it was fun 15 years ago or in 2001 when it happened. But boy, I think it was Regal and Jericho, but I can't remember who. I think Regal was the heel. Either way, it was fun to watch. I'm worried about this match.
I want this match to be, and we'll talk about it in a minute when we predict it. I want this match to be good. I'm going to try to go into it with an open mind, but Randy Orton just is not doing it for me. And if it comes off campy and poorly acted, because he's a bad actor. He's a great wrestler. He's a bad actor. And if it comes off poorly acted, I'm going to hate it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're relying heavily on storytelling and acting to get this match over, you better have two people in there who know what they're doing.
And they don't.
Well, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt at least.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try.
Bray can do it.
You want to jump into Payback?
Give me a few more seconds here if you don't mind.
Go.
First, I really miss Mauro Ranallo.
Yeah,
that's one thing. I hate Naomi. I've crossed the threshold to now I just don't want to see her at all. One thing I did like from the women's segment, although I don't want to come off as a fan of it, I did not like it. I did like seeing James Ellsworth walking off with the rest of the girls accomplished. It was a really funny shot. I thought it was just like three heel girls and Ellsworth walking off after the beatdown. To me, it was a great shot.
Right.
I'm not tired of Ellsworth. I know some people like him. I think he's being used properly, personally, in my opinion. And then I just will note that I thought Raw was the better show. I thought SmackDown was garbage last night.
There's not much more you could do with him. I mean, he was going to have to take a step back. He wasn't going to be able to stay in the main event with AJ Styles all year.
Correct. Yeah. So I feel like he's being used properly. Curious, though, because you seem to like SmackDown more than I did. What was the better show in your opinion?
Raw.
Okay. Agreed. All right. And then you want to move into the pay-per-view?
Sure. I think that the Superstar Shakedown, while SmackDown really benefits from having Owens, I think Raw got the better end of the deal, and they're just, I don't know. And the fact that Brock Lesnar is nowhere to be found on Raw doesn't bother me at all.
Also, remember, SmackDown picked up a win with Nakamura.
Yeah.
And I really feel like the Shakedown was sufficient. I think that both shows made out okay, in my opinion. So, by the way, if you're wondering which pay-per-view we're talking about, because they're currently hyping two pay-per-views right now. They're hyping Payback and Backlash. Jerry and I will be previewing Payback, just to keep things clear. Right,
but it will be confusing because we have some SmackDown superstars on the pay-per-view.
Of course we do. Yes, we've got at least two matches that are half SmackDown guys, but you know what? Those might be the two matches I'm most excited for. Let's get into it.
As always, I have already labeled all of my picks. I will put yours beside it, and I will post a picture of it on the Post show for everyone to see.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Also, I predict Jerry will probably win since this is a B show.
I'm feeling confident about most of my picks.
Two matches gave me a really tough time. I will elaborate when we get to those matches, which two gave me the tough time.
Same with me. I had two problems.
Wonder if they're the same. Let's find out. There's a match that's already determined for the kickoff show, although I do expect, well, maybe not, because I was going to say I expect a second match to be added to the pre-show, although they do have the Miz's highlight reel as a kickoff segment. I'm a little upset. I could go for that on the main show. Actually, both segments wouldn't bother me on the main show.
I like that they're actually holding off on the Intercontinental title match between Miz and Dean Ambrose. It's okay to make me wait for a match. It's okay.
But I'm excited to see Finn in the highlight reel, or I'm sorry, the Miz TV, but I'm going to miss it because it's on the pre-show.
Right. Well, we'll have to do like we do with Talking Smack and catch the YouTube clips.
And it annoys me. And also, I wouldn't mind seeing Enzo and Cass take on the Gallows and Anderson on the main show either. But if you had to pick a pre-show match, this one makes sense, I guess.
That's the one.
All right, this one's tough to call. I feel like it wasn't one that I got hung up on, but I will say this: I did change my mind on my decision. I originally had Gallows and Anderson winning, switched to Enzo and Cass.
I have Enzo and Cass. I just feel like they need a win here. They need a victory, and they're going to get it.
They had a very prominent beatdown on Raw, which leads me to think they're going to get their retribution on Sunday.
All right. I'm putting you in, locking you in on Enzo and Big Cass.
And you have the same, correct?
Correct.
But it seemed like the team that, it wouldn't shock me if Anderson and Gallows win because they seem to be getting the more focus. They seem to have a good record. Gallows and Anderson are more tag contenders than Enzo and Cass, I feel like. So I do feel like this could go either way, but we agree on it anyway.
Sure.
After that, the next match I have listed is one of the matches that gave me a hard time. Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins.
It was tough. That wasn't one of my big toughies, but it was tough.
Yeah, this was the one. It gave me the second hardest time. Who do you got?
I have Samoa Joe. I have Samoa Joe going over. He didn't have a WrestleMania match. Am I correct? He's had one pay-per-view match, right, with Sami Zayn?
Yeah, against Sami Zayn.
This will be his second pay-per-view. I don't know. I feel like he's going to get a win over Seth Rollins. I don't think this story is anywhere close to being done. I think that Extreme Rules is coming up. I think we're going to see a match with those guys there. I think Samoa Joe gets the nod on this one.
Real good chance of this one being a schmaz, but we do disagree on this one. I went with Rollins with little confidence, but I feel like Rollins is still a pretty big focal point of the show. I feel like he will be in title contention at some point here in the future, probably before Joe is. And I feel like, there's a way to get Joe over as the tough guy without him winning the match. Rollins also debuted a new finisher on Monday, so we're probably going to see that, I would think, on Sunday. So I'm going to go in and lock in on Rollins.
Okay, I like your reasoning. I'm thinly confident on Joe, so we're in the same boat, I think, on that one.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we disagree. I prefer disagreements. I think they're a lot more fun.
Yeah.
But neither one of us have a lot of confidence in that, and I feel like if any match has schmaz-like ending, it would be Joe and Rollins, especially with their style too. I can see it just becoming a brawl that no one can contain or whatever.
That'd be nice.
So let's move on to the next match I have on my list. I guarantee you we'll be closer to the end of the show. Maybe I'll mix things up here. Let me look. You know what? Yeah, let me mix things up here. Let's go with the Cruiserweight Championship match. I've got champion Neville defending his title against Austin Aries. Of course, again, this is a rematch. I'm locking in. I don't really know why. And I could be wrong. Again, not a lot of confidence in my pick here. Locking in on Neville retaining.
It's funny. When they fought at WrestleMania, you picked Austin Aries and I picked Neville. And this time you picked Neville and I'm picking Austin Aries. I think Austin Aries is going to get it now. I think Teddy Joystick's going to be involved at some point. There are stories to be told, and Austin getting the belt, I think, makes sense at this point. So I think that it's going to be Austin Aries gets it.
It's not a bad thought, and it seems like, I always like to, I think that I'll feel like the time is right, so to speak, for a title change. And it could be that time, although I feel like it could go another month. I don't think he's going to have a much longer title run, but I do think that Neville retains this Sunday. And
I am going to call TJ Perkins Teddy Joystick for the rest of my day.
I loved that reference last week. I thought that was funny. So
you're Neville. You're Neville on Austin Aries.
Yeah. And remember that a disqualification goes with the champ. So you're saying that Teddy Joysticks might interfere. If it results in a DQ, that's still a retention and a win for the champion Neville.
I'm saying Austin Aries is going to get the championship belt. Yeah. I'm okay saying that.
All right, so we got. Let me jump around here again. Let's go with the Raw Tag Title match.
This was one of the ones that gave me a hard time.
No, not me. I don't think the Hardys' time is up yet. I think that they retain.
I feel like they could lose the belts, and that would be something is going to happen to bring out Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero. Something's going to happen at some point. It would be the loss of a title. They haven't built it up enough for that. People are hungry for the broken gimmick. I don't know if WWE has wrestled and wrangled the rights away just yet from TNA, or if they're still in a dispute. So I really don't know when that will happen, which was why I was going to pick Cesaro and Sheamus, but I just couldn't in good confidence do it. Not this time. So I went with the Hardy Boys. I think the Hardy Boys retain.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I think that they do. I'm not positive the broken gimmick is where they want to go with this, but it could be. I mean, it's all you hear about whenever you see a Hardy's headline is that they're trying to bring the gimmick over, or this person wants it backstage, but this person doesn't. And I'm kind of indifferent. I haven't been exposed much to the broken gimmick, so I wouldn't be upset if I saw it, but I feel like I won't like it when I do see it.
Okay.
I feel like when you leave the Hardys to their own devices, they become weird and annoying, and I don't want that. However, if you
here's why I want it, and the only reason is I don't want them to become a nostalgia act like the Dudley Boys did, because they won't last long as a nostalgia act.
Yeah,
right now they're a bit of nostalgia. I want them to really start developing again.
That was kind of my second point, was if you leave them the way they are now, though, there's not really much of character to latch onto for either one of them except for their nostalgia. You're right. So I guess I wouldn't be upset if it happens, but either way, I'll survive. They're doing a great job. They're having whether you're talking about the Hardys, the New Age Outlaws, the Dudleys, throw the Headbangers in, I guess, all these nostalgia acts they bring back. Hardys are certainly standing out as being the best. Would you agree?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, without a doubt. And they're the ones, because they're the ones that can still really work.
Let's move on to the women's title match. We got champion Bayley taking on Alexa Bliss.
This was my other match. This was the other one that gave me trouble.
You know what? I'm worried I didn't spend enough time thinking about this one, because here I am at the plate, and I'm really second guessing myself now.
You want me to tell you? We've been going back and forth. I'll tell you who I picked.
Well, I'm afraid if you tell me, I might change my mind.
All right.
Well, you know what? Go ahead.
Step up and swing. Who'd you write down?
I wrote down Bayley. What'd you write down?
Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, every prediction I have no confidence in. Okay, you know what? I already locked in on Bayley. She's the name I wrote
let
down.
You change it. You want to be Bayley or Alexa?
I feel like it's a coward move for me to change it.
All right, so Bayley it is.
Yeah, I'll make it interesting, I guess. I wrote down Bayley. I'll keep it as Bayley.
If you believe in your heart, though, that it's going to be Alexa, say Alexa. I mean that. Because it took me a while, and I thought if the Hardys retain, we're going to have a new women's champion. If they don't, then they lose the belts, and they're going to that's my whole mess. That was my whole mess. But I think Alexa with the belt is more compelling than Bayley with it right now. It just is. And I think it's time for Alexa to really elevate. She'll be a great heel with that belt.
Yeah, but is it Sunday? I don't disagree with anything you said, but my question is it Sunday?
I think it is.
Maybe it is. I don't know. God, I hate this. Why didn't I think of this more?
Lock it in. Pick one. But pick the one you really mean.
Okay, well, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity here. And, okay, you know what? If you're allowing me to switch, I think now as we're talking about it, I will switch because I have, to no spoilers, I guess, but I don't have any title changes.
Right. So I'm locking in Alexa Bliss for Rob.
Shoot. I don't know what I want to do.
Why don't we come back to it?
Okay, can I pass?
Oh my God, this is like the $15,000 pyramid. Pass. Skip.
Well, I guarantee you now that we've been focused on it, it will come down to, I guarantee you this will make or break my lock of destiny, which is currently mine.
Right now, we disagree on Neville and Austin Aries, and we disagree on Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe. I have every confidence that you and I are picking the same for Jericho Owens and picking the same for Orton Wyatt.
Let's talk about Jericho Owens, because we've already talked enough about it. Everyone knows what's going to happen here. Owens
is staying on SmackDown. Jericho's going to Fozzy. I love Jericho. He's going to do the job for his buddy. Owens wins, right?
Owens wins. You nailed it. Yeah, that's what it is. I think that Jericho is about to take a little vacation, and I can't see him winning Sunday. So let's get rid of that one, and then let's talk about Reigns and Strowman before I lock in on the women's championship.
Okay.
This one, not simple. I feel like this one could also be Shmaz like. I'm taking Roman Reigns, and I feel like you probably are too. You kind of alluded to it on Monday or on Tuesday's episode that you don't think that Roman Reigns is going to have a lot of high profile losses here in the next year.
I am done picking against Roman Reigns. I'm just not. I feel like, and it's really funny that I'm starting it this month, because if he was going to lose one, he's going to lose this one, because he's got the separated shoulder excuse. He's been off of TV for 2 weeks. I know it was because of his brother, which I really feel badly for him for. But they're making it look like the ambulance being flipped, and that's the reason. I could see Braun and him having a match where it just gets so disgustingly brutal that it gets stopped, and a schmaz ending, and then we move to the next pay-per-view. But I'm done thinking that way when it comes to Roman Reigns, because it's going to come down to spear 1, 2, 3. So Roman Reigns, he's getting it. He wins.
Agreed. Everything you just said, agree with. And before we get to our last match, I will lock in on Alexa Bliss.
Okay. All right. That's what you wanted to do. I don't fault you at all. That's what your heart wanted.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you. We will now move off of that topic. We've got one last match to talk about. We have no idea what a House of Horrors match is. I'm starting to not even care. I'm glad this pay-per-view isn't another week away, because they're losing me big time. I'm not really, well, I guess I am a little excited for it. Let's go ahead and do it. Seems like it's non-title. I feel 90% certain it's non-title. Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, House of Horrors, Duchess of Queensberry rules, meaning we don't know what it is. This was the other one that gave me a hard time. In fact, this gave me the hardest time of all of them. I'll give you my work before I give you my answer. You've got Bray, who has been a former champion, now lost the title last month, WrestleMania. And he's calling all the shots in this match, tailoring a match to himself. However, you have the stipulation that if he wins, Randy doesn't lose the title anyway. So you've got some pretty heavy evidence on either side. I feel like Randy wins. I feel pretty good about this. What do you think?
That's your answer. I'll show you my work. Much like your work. We don't know what it's going to do. It's going to be a crazy match. It's going to be like Silent Hill type nonsense, and it's going to be right up Bray's alley. And he's the one he's the deck's in his favor for sure. It's non-title. I keep thinking it's non-title. There's no repercussion for Randy if he loses this. It can only benefit Bray, who has been made to look foolish the past 3 months.
Well, keep in mind, one of those months he was champion.
He was champion, but the whole time he's champion, it's like, well, I'm going to burn down your shed with your ghost girlfriend in it, and then, oh well, I'm gonna do this, and well, I'm gonna burn down what I burned down already, and now I'm gonna put this yard sign in the ground, and now I took your power, and now I took your belt.
I always thought that Abigail was a sister. Was Abigail a girlfriend?
It's his sister. Oh, okay. It's his sister. But you look at Bray Wyatt. You think he doesn't sleep with his sister? Come on.
All right, so you showed your work, same as mine. Did you get the same answer as me?
No, I didn't. I think Bray Wyatt gets the win. I wonder if Jinder Mahal shows up at some point, to continue that with Randy, which I think would be weird. I think if you're just going to have Bray win, just let Bray win.
In wrestling, what's more horrifying than a foreigner?
USA!
Right,
USA!
Yeah. So, okay. So give me the rundown real quick. Which ones do we disagree on again?
Okay, so.
Thanks for letting me change the plate. I'm not sure I would have been the bigger man in that situation.
I know you wouldn't have been, and that's okay, because if you end up winning because of it, I'll remind you. So you picked Neville, and I picked Austin Aries. We both agree on Kevin Owens. We both agree on the Hardy Boys. We both agree on Enzo and Cass. You picked Seth Rollins. I picked Samoa Joe. We both agree on Alexa Bliss. We both agree on Roman Reigns. You select Randy Orton, and I select Bray Wyatt. I think a tiebreaker should be, what is the main event? It's got to be Braun and Roman, right?
Oh, I think it's the House of Horrors.
There it is. There's our tiebreaker.
Usually the tiebreaker is whichever one goes on last. But you know what? Since you were nice enough to let me change my women's champion pick, I will let you call the tiebreaker. So you think Reigns and Strowman goes last?
I do.
Okay, I'll take the House of Horrors, I guess.
Okay, good. I'm
but it's only a tiebreaker.
I'm excited for this pay-per-view. It looks like a good fun show if they do it right.
I would say I'm personally, but remember that is only a tiebreaker. And I'm only allowing this breaking of the rules because you let me change my opinion of the women's championship match.
I will say this. If the House of Horrors is great, I think it's the swing match. If the House of Horrors is great, it could probably make this show a B. If it's terrible, it could bring it all the way down to a D or an F.
All right, let me sign out of here. I definitely got to roll. This went longer than I expected. So, like I said, no theme music while I'm having computer issues. Let me just say for myself, the Rob, my tag team partner, Jerry Valeri, we will catch you on Monday for a recap of Payback. See you later.
USA! USA! USA!